tournament time comes around, we're always looking for who's the Cinderella. Teams like Houston, Texas Tech, Illinois, we've talked about a little bit already, or maybe someone that I'm not even thinking about, that's someone that's buried down in some mid-major conference. Is there anyone out there that can shock the world, so to speak?
So, hearkening back to a few years ago, I think today is the noon game today in the Missouri Valley is a very good indicator of what. So Drake versus Loyola Chicago. Those two teams are very, very good. And even like I was talking about the Ken Palm ratings, Loyola Chicago, which I think is a little overstated because of their lack of competition on a whole, but they're like ranked like 11 or 12 in that. So those two teams are both one-loss squads. I think those are, that's a conference over the years. If you just look historically, they provide good teams. They are your fundamentally sound. They do everything right. And Loyola Chicago went to the Final Four. I don't know if I would.
So that was the Sister Mary team or whatever.
Sister Mary, exactly.
Yeah.
So they're right back in the mix. And Crow, their big freshman from that year, he's their best player. So those two teams are playing each other today. I would say for deep sleepers, you go right there. I mean, those teams are very, very good basketball teams. And on the same tone, we talked about the Blue Bloods, where a lot of these programs, as talented as they are, they're kids. You got to remember that. With these Loyola Chicagos and some of these squads, like they're built to make a run every 3-4 years. So when they get to this third, fourth year, these are battle-tested, talented kids who are they're kind of men against boys. So
not questioning whether they belong out there.
Correct. So I would put those two right in the mix. You brought up Houston. I think Houston, I think we think of them as a sleeper, but they're kind of not. And once again, on that same topic, their two best players, they brought in Quentin Grimes from Kansas, who I don't want to say was a flop at Kansas, but he was similar to what we're talking about. These kids there was supposed to be a lottery pick his first year, and he struggled. And it took a couple of years to get it together. He transferred. So they have him, and they have Dejan Giroux, who transferred from UMass, another high prospect. Again, took time to develop, but now Kelvin Sampson, who's legit, excellent coach, has these two at the top of the league, and they're good. They're very good. And again, they're senior laden, they're upperclassmen. So I think they're a legit threat. That's not a sleeper per se because they're in the American. They're actually really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I would say you're deep. The Missouri Valley guys, like you watch them. Belmont, another one. Belmont, another team that just keeps cranking wins, and you watch them and they shoot the ball well. I keep an eye on Belmont.
That NEC.
Yeah, keep an eye on Belmont. Keep an eye on Belmont.
We will. Now. Belmont, granted that they are from the NEC, which is a conference historically that doesn't get higher than a 15 seed. Is Belmont good enough to get into that 11 through 13, 10 through 13 range seed wise?
I do think so. I do think so. And I don't know if you recall a few years ago, which they lost to Maryland. I believe it was a 7-10 game. So Belmont has gotten respect the last number of years. They lost a heartbreaker. They led most of the game, Maryland. So I wouldn't say Dylan Windler, who's playing for the Cavs now, was their best player. They don't have him, but it's an example of a program who does it the right way. So I think the committee respects that and understands, like, this is the squad who probably will play well in the tourney.